me, it doesn't matter. Like, I'm here for the kids. This is not about me.
Let's go, break it down. There's no 3 out. 1, 2, 3, down. On the hop. Get to where you're supposed to be.
We had the pleasure of joining Ryan Mallett for his first year as a head coach down at Whitehall a couple summers ago. And one of the things that he said to me was how much it was about the kids, how he wanted to pour into the young kids, build those fundamentals at a young age, because he wanted to continue to grow the game. He felt like the game was dying a little bit on the youth side, and he wanted to do it, and that was really a passion for him now that his pro career is over. And of course, we lost him tragically about 8 months ago. This is his sister, Lauren Mallett-Hays. Very happy to have you.
Thank you.
As you guys now launch something in his memory and in his honor with the Mallett Family Foundation.
Yes, we are very excited to launch that. It kind of rolled out a little bit last night into today. We started talking about it after he passed, probably about a month after he passed. He and I had talked about, before he ever got drafted, when he was still here at the university and wasn't sure, if he would be drafted, that kind of thing, about how cool it would be to have a foundation together doing nonprofit work. And unfortunately, life just took us in different avenues, while he had the opportunity in the NFL. After he passed, we just had so many stories that we heard from people all over the state about how he was so great with their kids, how he spent extra time with them. And those are things that we knew personally, being around him all throughout his childhood. But we were just so happy that more people than we knew got to see that part of him. And so we really wanted to figure out how we could continue to kind of spread that loving feeling that he was able to generate throughout the state. And this was the best way we could do it. I had seen a quote, I was telling Mom about this earlier, that grief is just like love that you can't give somebody because they're no longer here. And so this, to me, is the best way that we can share that love with the people that shared their love with him, with us throughout our tragic time and our time of grief in the last few months.
Some of the video and photos that you shared with me are with him, with the Patriots. And one of my favorite parts of the funeral was when JR shared that story about how he read the article about Ryan Mallett staying so long to sign all of these kids. And it just is indicative of exactly what he stood for. But maybe also, as you say, people shared those stories. That's also a side of Ryan that not a lot of people did know about.
Yeah, he was always about kids. I have 3 kids. He treated them like they were his. If you were ever at a game of his, whether it's high school or college or pros, if you saw him after the game, he was always surrounded by either his teammates' kids or my kids or any kid that was around. He was out throwing the football with them on the field. And, he has been around it ever since he was a child. And we used to come to Razorback games all the time. And I think that really kind of helped guide his path of how he wanted to be, because he knew how it felt when, maybe he didn't get that autograph that he wanted that day, or he didn't have the best interaction with maybe his mentor players or somebody he thought he looked up to.
So the Mallett Family Foundation, the mission for you guys, what is it exactly at the core that you want to get done?
Well, clearly sports are a huge part of not only Ryan's life, but our family's life. Our dad was a coach. I was a coach and played ball. My mom did. A lot of our uncles did as well. And just knowing the life lessons that you get out of sports, we think it's very important that youth have the access to be able to participate if they want to. Unfortunately, we know now as times are changing, financial limitations kind of limit people at times. So we are partnering with schools across the state to offer sports camps, both for females and males, in different sports at free of cost for the participants. In return, the coaches and the school system will have their student athletes help us run the camps. Their student athletes will get volunteer credit that they now need under the LEARNS Act to graduate. And then we'll make a monetary donation to the school system, their athletic program, so that they can utilize those funds to help either their whole team or those players that are maybe really struggling financially to be able to participate in the way that they could. We have 2, I don't want to say smaller, but our big focus this year is definitely the camps, but we're also going to offer athletic scholarships for 10th through 12th graders that maybe are recruitable athletes, but again, don't have the financial ability to get to some of these college camps that they need to be recognized. And so that way we will be able to offer them an athletic scholarship, and we'll use coaches throughout the state to kind of help us identify who those players might be. And then another part that a lot of people didn't necessarily get to see with Ryan, but we did, was just his heart for people that didn't necessarily have the best home life. And so we really wanted to make sure we incorporated that in our mission. And so we'll be offering academic and VOTEC scholarships to foster kids that have aged out of the foster care system.
I saw that on the website. I was going to ask you about that. So that's really great. And one of the first things that you guys are going to do is this Pros versus Joes event, which I'm excited to hear more about, that you guys are going to do a flag football game of sorts in November.
Yes. Everything we're doing, we're trying to think about what Ryan would want and what Ryan would want to participate in. And we knew like a fancy gala or something like that would not have been his type of fundraiser. So, sports are at the highlight of all of this. And of course, he's played with a ton of athletes that, he had a ton of them show up at his funeral that have reached out to us. And we thought, how cool would it be for them to kind of help get in on doing what we're doing here? And so we're going to have a Pros versus Joes flag football game. So we'll have people across the state that have never played collegiate or professional sports kind of try out to make the team. And then they'll play against players that have either been in college or pros. Following that, we'll have a little tailgate and a concert. We're working on the entertainer for that. And we're hoping to get one of Ryan's good friends that a lot of people will know, and then we'll have a silent auction there too.
That's going to be a lot of fun. I will say I was at a couple charity golf tournaments that Ryan was at too, so maybe a golf tournament in the future as well.
We're kind of rolling into different ones slowly.
That's gonna be awesome. We have a lot more information on all of that on our website. But lastly, Lauren, with this foundation, I know how hard it is for the family and what you guys have gone through over the last 8 months. I can't imagine. And sometimes it's hard to start something like this because it just brings Ryan up all the time. Why was this important for you guys?
Because Ryan lived his life to the fullest, and we want people to know and remember that about him. And I think remembering all of the great things he did kind of helps us in our grief process too. Yes, it's sad, and yes, there's times that we really feel that emotional toil of what we've been going through, but this gives us more opportunity to talk to more people that have interacted with him, and those stories actually just make us so very happy and know that he touched so many people in his short time.
Yeah, I know he's really proud looking down on all you guys. I'm excited to see what this turns into. Thanks so much for sharing with us today.
Thank you for having us.
If you guys want to learn more about the Mallett Family Foundation, we have it on our website, as well as more information how you can get involved. Thank you so much again, Lauren, for joining us. Thank you for watching PTN Extra. We'll see you next week.